Hi, good morning, you guys. I'm David LaRock, and it's 4:57 a.m. on Monday, April 23rd, right? 24th, 4:57 a.m., April 24th. This is live TV. I can change the channel. Turn it up one. High points. You'll be happy with it. So all I want to focus on today is to show you guys that every single show, news program, commercial, all of them, every single person on TV and radio is repeating what they say. The reason they're doing that, I'm going to save for later. I'll tell some stories as the day goes on, and I just said go, and then he said go. So that's one of the phenomenons where I have this board over here that, let me mute that, where somehow, just while talking, like I just was, the words that I say somehow preclude the words that they say no matter what I'm watching. So I said go, he said go. So I have this that I have put right here, and I'm going to demonstrate throughout the day and keep track of how many times things repeat, because my life repeats no matter what. So, I'm a little bit sore and stiff this morning, but I can still rock it out. Let's go back to last. Oh, guide. Where am I at? 57. This is Fox and Friends. Select.
Between my family and an uncertain world is 1.5 inches of wood.
Of wood.
Considering everything I care about is behind this door, I want the best protection I can get.
You should get the best protection.
For over 140 years,
grab
more
this
people
pen
have
over
chosen
here.
ADT to help stop crime. Get ADT starting at just $28.99.
Tested, trusted, proven. ADT.
We're everywhere. All the time.
What I think folks don't
This
realize
is the 5th day in a row, the 6th day in a row. Actually, I started last Wednesday, the 7th day in a row that I have gotten in front of the camera to demonstrate this stuff, and we've had some phenomenal things happen. Saturday, Sunday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th day in a row. Today is Monday the 24th.
Secretary of Defense James Mattis making a surprise visit to Afghanistan overnight, looking to come up with a strategy to take out the Taliban.
I can't imagine the Democrats would shut down the government over a wall that can end the law.
I'm feeling light as a feather.
I think talking about this wall is expressing a sign
And make sure that I've had a lot of technical difficulties with this app, but we'll see what happens. 5, 5, 5.
I don't know if all the notes were actually talking about Nancy Pelosi. I think they have.
Is she out of touch and out of time, or I think she was talking about
I think VH1.
someone else.
Nancy Pelosi, you're out of touch?
Yes.
She thinks building the wall is a sign of weakness.
Yes, that makes total sense. Sure.
Sign of
We'll get to
weakness.
that in a minute, but first let's introduce our guest for the
That's
8 o'clock here at
interesting.
the 8 o'clock hour. We've got
We're
the
just
Attorney
trying to
General
protect
for
our
the
borders,
United
huh?
States of America, Jeff Sessions, joining us from the Department of Justice.
Let me put those over there.
Hey,
Turn this up
we
over
all
here.
know that when Donald Trump was running for president, because several times you were right there with him
sure
on
you
the,
can hear him.
at the dais, he made it very clear, we're going to build a wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it.
He did make that clear.
Apparently Mexico not ready to pay for it, so we got to get Congress to do it. You were a senator
Get
for a very
Congress
long
to
time.
do it.
What's the president got to do this week to get $1 billion to build part of the wall?
What we need to do is remind Congress and the American people that this president promised this. They voted for it. in large numbers. It was one of the great strengths in his campaign.
Great
It was
strength.
certainly one of the reasons I believe that he should be elected president, and I supported him. So Congress can
A lot of
find
support.
a host of ways to pay for this wall. It can be done through people who come to our country through Mexico, fees and cost, and even
All
fixing
kinds
a
of
tax
different
abuse
ways.
situation that I believe would make a lot of the payment toward the fixing it. So there's no problem with getting this done, and it's going to save a
Get
huge
it
amount
done.
of money, because we're going to
Saving
continue to
money's
see
good.
this rapid decline in the number of people that come into our country illegally. Housing, deportation costs, all kinds of costs will be reduced when we reduce that flow.
Reduce.
I mean, especially because you have to pay less border guards in theory, Border Patrol to do that. So, when you were Senator Jeff Sessions,
Let me
you
turn
know in
this a little bit
2006,
this way.
64 Democrats approved a bill to build a fence, a barrier.
They
You know
approved
that
it already.
80 of 100 senators approved
Approved
the
it.
bill
Approved
to
it.
have a border fence. Now he wants to do a wall. What changed?
Well, let me tell you, be frank with you, Steve. Throughout this whole process,
That was
I've
Brian,
been
but that's
saying
okay.
that whenever you come up with anything that actually fixed the problem, that is what does not pass. They'll pass anything as long as it doesn't work. They'll talk about fixing the border again and again and again. But when the chips are down, they back off. Let me tell you, we are this close. We've already changed the whole mentality at the border. President Trump has. Last month
Already
was the
changed
lowest month
70%
of
less.
illegal entries in 17 years.
That's
We get
fantastic.
this barrier fixed. We get this, it'll
Get it
save us
fixed.
so much money. It will
Save
reduce the amount of drugs and criminals that come into the country. It will make us more secure and safe from terrorists.
Secure
It's
is
going to
good.
be the end of illegality. And we admit 1,000,001
Enforce the law.
people each year lawfully into America. So we're not ending immigration. We're just ending illegal immigration. The American people have asked for it for 30 years. It's time for the politicians to deliver
They should
once and
deliver.
for all, and we can do it.
It's time for the politicians
the
to start listening to the
politicians
president and to the people. The people
Listen.
voted him in office.
And that.
He tried to get that 6-country ban. That didn't happen. He tried to repeal and replace Obamacare.
didn't happen.
Congress is not letting him do that. And now he wants to build this wall. Is it going to happen? Is Congress going to get on board and finance this?
They've got to do this.
Glasses
This is
are
a
all
battle.
twisted
It's
and
going to be a
crooked.
tough fight. It does look like. I'm amazed that we're seeing some of the resistance we are. But the president's determined.
Where's
The
the
American
damn
people
part?
need to speak out.
Right.
We've got to get this done.
Well, listen, Senator, this will be devastating. This is about politics. Just like when they told George Bush, 41, read my lips, no new taxes.
What's
they cut
that?
a deal with him. He
Up
got him
there.
to raise taxes. They beat him over the head with it in the next election, and Bill Clinton became president. Nancy Pelosi weighed in, and she actually said this, the building of a wall reveals this about the president. Listen.
What's wrong with giving the president his money for a border wall in exchange for a priority that is
Trump's
not his?
going to hit it out of the
Keeping
park
Obamacare,
this week. I know
fully
it.
functional and funded as a
Hit it
priority
out of
that's
the park,
important to you.
though.
What's wrong with that kind of horse trading in Washington?
What is wrong with it, that scenario, is the wall. President talks about how tall
But
it
wait,
is,
they
who's
just
going
said
to
that
pay
they all
for
voted for
and
it
all the rest of
years
that.
ago.
But you have to understand
but,
this
she
part of
said
the
but.
country. There's a
I
community
could do
with
that
the
all
border
day.
going through it. The president, I think, talking about this wall, is expressing a sign of weakness. He's
How can that be
saying, I can't
weakness?
control our border. I have to
She
build
just
a
called
wall.
her own party weak and everybody that
Do you
voted for
understand
it.
that logic?
I do not. What I understand is
I'll be
that
right
the
back.
Democrats are fighting a desperate rearguard effort to stop this barrier and stop the ending of illegality at
I'm
the
a man of my
border.
word.
I've
I'm
made
right back.
trips to Texas, Arizona, and California in the last 2 weeks. I've seen the border. We have millions of people crossing the border legally, constantly on a regular basis. All kinds of produce and items are moved back and forth. That's not going to end. We're not going to make it impossible for people to travel between our countries, but we're going to end this illegality.
Illegality
We're not
part
going
of
to
it.
stop until we get it done. This is the closest we'll ever get to getting it done. So we need to make sure we get to the finish line.
Get
It's
it
already
done.
been reduced as much as 70%, this illegality,
Right.
and we're going to get it to
Get
zero.
it done.
Keep
Get
it
her
done,
done.
and we'll be proud of the new system.
Get
that we
loud.
have.
Well, Mr. Attorney General, is this something worth
Wake
shutting
everybody
the government
up.
down for? I mean, if they don't get the $1 billion, should they shut the government down to make a point to the Democrats?
Well, the way the system works is that whenever the government is shut down, people blame the Republicans. But let me tell you, it will be the Democrats that shut this
Shut
government
down
down to
if
block the
it
funding
shuts
of the
down.
wall. That's what the question is. Are they going to shut
Shut
the
it
government
down.
down? We'll have a bill moving forward with some money in there for
Make
the
sure it
wall,
doesn't
and
shut
it'll be
down.
up to Congress to pass it. And if the Democrats filibuster that and block it, they're the ones shutting the
Shutting
whole
it down.
government down just to keep the wall from being built. No doubt about it.
Where's the rest of the money going to come from? If you're only asking for $1 billion, and how much is it going to cost? $12
About
billion
$12
to build it minimum. Where's the rest of the money going to come from?
Well, that will be
That'll be a good
we'll
start,
be
wouldn't it?
prepared for the next year's budget, the 2018 budget.
The
It'll
budget
have to be
next year.
done by September 30th. So there are a lot of ways it can be paid for. It can be paid for
Paid
over
for.
time. But as I indicated, we're going to save
Right.
billions of dollars by ending this illegality.
I know, the
There's no doubt about it.
And Homeland Security Secretary said he wants to start this summer, and you already know the places that need to be addressed quickly. He did the tour over the last few days. Meanwhile, let's talk about sanctuary
Spots, I
cities.
guess.
You're cracking down. You said you're going to
Sanctuary
hold back federal money if you
Public
don't, if you
sanctuary
continue to be a sanctuary city. Some people are coming back at
Bring
you,
back
including one
funds for
lawmaker,
sanctuary
calling
cities.
you a racist, saying this. It has become abundantly clear the Attorney General,
Isn't
Jeff
that what they
Sessions, and the
always
Trump
say?
administration are bashing law enforcement policies on principles
Are you
of
on
white
board with that?
supremacy, not American
No.
values. Their constant systematic targeting of diverse cities and states goes beyond constitutional norms and will be challenged
over
at
the
every
top.
level. That is State Senator Kevin DeLeon. Your reaction to that accusation, which is unbelievable.
Over the top.
Well, we're not going to do anything in this Department of Justice that's in any way hostile to civil rights of people, and we're going to treat everybody lawfully, but overwhelmingly, all people want to see lawfulness returned, I believe, to the immigration system, and
All
we're not
people wanna
targeting
see that.
anybody, and we're never
Not
going to
targeting
target anybody.
anybody.
But the law says that any person who enters the country unlawfully and then is convicted of a crime should be deported and shall
Gotta be deported.
So that's all we're asking.
That's reasonable.
Overwhelmingly,
That's
most
not
cities
unreasonable.
and counties in America support that policy
Support
and
it.
cooperate every day. I
think
urge
most
these
Americans
cities to
support that
reevaluate.
policy.
Why do you want to release convicted criminals back into
Back
your
into the
city
cities.
and your county when they should be deported according to law?
Well, they call
I
you
just can't
racist.
imagine it. Well, that's just the last gasp of people who are losing this battle politically. People want this
Their
law
last gasp.
enforced. They want people who come here on our pleasure we allow them to come on certain conditions, and one of them is that they behave themselves and not act criminally. And if they act criminally, they
That's
should
criminal,
be deported,
they should
of
be
course.
deported.
Mr. Sessions, at what point does the Department of Justice start withholding federal grant money to some of these
How
sanctuary
about
cities?
yesterday?
Well, in last year, the Obama administration sent out notices that people had to comply with this cooperative language in the law
had to comply
that was
with
passed
it.
several years
That
ago.
makes sense.
And we sent out a letter today to 10 cities that the
10
Inspector
cities
General's
got a
office
letter
last
today.
year said were potentially in violation
I
of
wonder
the
if Los
law
Angeles is one of
involving
them.
deportation in sanctuary cities. We expect them to respond. If they don't respond,
They gotta respond.
should not receive the grants because the grants
The
were
grants.
issued on condition of
On
cooperation.
condition.
So are you giving them
Cooperation.
30 days, 60 days, 90 days to prove that they're not
I'll
breaking
have
the
a
law?
certain amount of
keep
time to
doing it?
prove it.
We asked them first to certify they're not in violation of the
Not
law,
in
and that
violation
by
of the law.
June of this year. So we will be evaluating that. There are other cities and
Evaluate it.
counties that also appear to be in violation. They've said they are in violation,
In
but
violation.
the grant of the Inspector General under President Obama's Attorney General has found 10 cities that they say were in
Violation.
probably in violation or potentially in
Violation.
violation. We've written those 10 a letter. Only one has responded.
Right, and one is
Have
suing
a
you
certain
back,
amount of
right?
time to respond.
Yeah, so they've gotten on the offensive. Now they're worried about
jump
this.
on the
They're
offensive.
suing us.
Yeah.
We've given them money, and they're not happy that we might
They're gonna
actually
throw
hold
everything
them
into
to the
the
agreements they
court
made.
system.
Mr. Attorney General, today marks 95 days of the first 100 days of the Trump administration. What is the high point from the Department of Justice?
Well, we've
Trying
done a
to
lot
look.
of things. We have reestablished a great relationship with our state and local law
Good to
enforcement officers.
reestablish
That's
those
critical.
relationships.
We've seen this dramatic improvement at the border
Improvement
in
at the border.
illegality to the lowest month in 17 years last month.
Good news.
And we're going to
Two thumbs
continue to attack violent crimes. We're creating an
America safe
organization and
again.
a team, a task force to focus on prescription drugs and opioids that are causing so many overdose
Major
deaths.
overdose
So I'm
deaths
really
on
excited
opioids.
about what we're doing here in the department. We're making progress every
Good
day.
progress every day.
Morale is high, and
High morale.
this is really the key to it is our coordinated work with
Right.
our state and local
But
partners.
the 6-nation/7 nation ban still in hyperspace, right?
It is still blocked in the
Seven-nation
courts. We've
ban.
got several
Oh, the
judges
ban
that have
for coming
approved it.
thought
Other
it was
judges
song when
have
he
blocked
said
it. So it's a
seven-nation army.
disappointment that we're being blocked at this point.
Focus.
But I totally believe we will win that on appeal. The president's
think we'll
order
win
is
it on
rational.
appeal.
It's
And it's
commonsensical.
rational.
It focuses only on 6 countries. 3 of them are state sponsors of terrorism. 3 of them are failed states with
promised that,
substantial
and he's delivering.
violent terrorists in them, and we have no way to vet those people. So
Never
the
vet
president
'em.
said we're going to have a 90-day pause until we figure out what's going on in those countries and to ensure we have a good vetting system. That's all he's saying.
Keep us safe.
Sure we
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Attorney General, thank you.
That was
Thank you
interesting.
so
Thank
much.
you.
All
Did you
right,
hear
meanwhile,
how
President Trump promising more winning this week.
the repeating
Starting with
occurs
a call to
all the way
space. We're
across
live at the White House with the preview.
all forms of media?
We believe at New Day USA, we have a noble purpose. We want to be known as America's
What did he
voice.
say was coming up?
We're live at the White House with
All right, Mr. Attorney General, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Meanwhile, President Trump promising more winning this week.
More
Starting
winning.
with a call to space. We're live at the White House with the preview. Next.
We believe at New Day USA.
Consolidate your credit card debt.
We're live, you guys. We're live with Fox and Friends.
$40 on
After an interview with
will even pay for your appraisal.
Jeff Sessions,
As a vet, you've earned the right to apply for a home loan.
show you that we're live. I'll keep showing you that we're live. 5:15 a.m. now. 5:15 a.m. Monday, April 24. Now, I guess they're going to be talking about what's going on with NASA. Is that what I heard? Let's rewind it. They're having a live interview, but in the grand scheme of things, that's the thought just came to my head. And so we'll see if somebody decides to use those terms. At 5:15 a.m. I will track and write myself an email to David LaRock about space exploration. Exploration, NASA. In the grand scheme of things, we must continue to push forward in our efforts to, what do I want to say? In our efforts to explore our universe. Explore the universe. could have fully misunderstood what Steve Ducey said about space. I think that's what he said. Let's check it out one more time. But even when I'm wrong, I'm right, because if I did,
And to ensure we have a good vetting system, that's all.
Well, President Trump promising more winning this week, starting with a call to space. We're live at the White House with a preview. Next.
oh, he's calling to space.
We believe
All right,
New
back
Day
to live.
USA.
Do we have a good connection? President Trump is coming up with a call to space, the space station. I have a feeling that he's going to be encouraging them to keep up the phenomenal work. You're doing a tremendous job. And we all appreciate what
The
you
road
do
to
for
President
us.
Trump's 100th day in office will be a very busy one.
Indeed, several big issues on tap today, ranging from the United Nations all the way to outer space.
Oh, they are calling outer
Fisher is
space.
live at the White House with a look at the president's agenda.
I wanna
Chris,
see
of
the
course,
agenda.
grew up in, knowing all about space.
Ready, set.
In space.
Yeah,
I
I
did
know.
Calling
not grow up in
space.
space. Sorry,
I
guys.
didn't grow up in space either.
That's what I meant to
Or
say.
did I?
Yes, my mom actually knows the astronauts
We'll
quite
figure
well.
that out
President
later.
Trump will be calling today. So,
Oh,
before
today.
President Trump makes this big call up to outer
Can't
space,
wait.
first he's going to talk to German Chancellor Angela Merkel. No guidance exactly
won
on
that
what this call is
election
going to be
over there?
about, though I'd imagine the election in France and its
That was
potential
France.
impact on the
The
European
election in
Union.
France.
It's likely going to come up. Then President Trump is going to call astronaut Peggy
Then,
Whitson on
not
board the
now,
International
then.
Space Station to congratulate
Steve
her
Ducey
for
got me
breaking
all
a very
excited.
big record, the
We're gonna
record
have an
for the
interview
longest
right
time
now,
spent
and it
in
isn't
space
happening till
by a
later.
U.S.
That's okay.
astronaut. Then the rest of the day is going to be spent in meetings with the Defense Secretary, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and ambassadors from countries
Take
on
a
the
deep
UN
breath.
Security Council. Now, later this week,
Excellent.
President Trump will sign 4 more executive orders that will improve whistleblower protections at the VA, implement an America First
That almost
offshore
sounds like
energy
a whistle.
strategy, create an agriculture and rural America task force, and order a review of federal lands previously
whistleblower.
designated to be
Offshore
national
energy
monuments.
strategy.
So what we're seeing is a
That's a
lot
good
of
list of
executive
stuff.
action in
That's
the
a
absence
tremendous
of
amount
any
of-
real meaningful legislative accomplishments. There's
Accomplished
really only
things
one
to
way
try and
left for
accomplish.
President Trump to score a big legislative win before his first 100 days are up, and that is convince Republicans to include funding for his border wall in the
That
bill
looks like
that
Southern
would keep the
California.
government open. The White House says he won the election, therefore he won the right
He won
to
the
get
right.
his most famous campaign promise funded. Though Democrats
funded.
and even some Republicans on Capitol Hill continue to say that that's a deal breaker. Brian, Nancy, and Steve?
All right,
That's
Kristen
not a
Fisher
deal
live
breaker.
at the White House. We thank you very much. By the way, he's also having lunch
My
today
sister
with the United
posted
Nations
she's
Security
feeling
Council
better.
ambassadors, which I would love to be a fly on the wall because all the things he has said about
I'm
the
like a
United
fly on the
Nations
wall.
over the last 2 years. That
No
should
matter
be
what
great.
I do.
Wouldn't that be fun?
No
It would be
kidding.
fun.
All right, so it's going to be a busy week, intense week. We wouldn't have it any other way. Meanwhile, 10 minutes before the bottom of the hour.
Have you heard it's the Democrats' new strategy to win back Washington?
Remember I went like that 5 minutes ago?
USA, hell no!
Okay.
He doesn't give a about healthcare. This isn't.
These are the parodies I'm talking about. I go like that. He
So
says,
what
have
does
you
Newt
heard?
Gingrich think about that approach?
What I do,
He's
what I do,
next
what I do.
on deck.
And he'll keep it G-rated and meet the lawmaker.
Gingrich.
That's true.
Thanks for
meet the
reminding
lawmaker
me
who would
about
rather
that.
starve herself than support an anti-sanctuary bill.
Yeah.
She wants to starve herself for 2 days.
Democrat
I told
can't
about
keep
commitment.
it
Take that,
G-rated.
Gandhi.
Riding along in my automobile, I was anxious to tell her the way I feel. So I told her softly and
To watch
I like that song. I missed what Brian said because I was speaking over him, though. Let's hear what he said. But if you heard what I just said, you'll hear the language pattern that's being said all over the media. Hey, look at how smiley they are this morning. That's good stuff. Everybody's repeating. It's the new dance. Have you heard it? Listen for it, you guys. It's important because there's a big, beautiful message behind the reason why everybody's repeating.
No kidding.
All right, so it's going to be a busy week, intense week. We wouldn't have it any other way. Meanwhile, 10 minutes before the bottom of the hour.
Have you heard it's the Democrats' new strategy to win back Washington?
You're gonna say hell no! He doesn't give a about healthcare. This is a budget.
I don't like that.
So what does Newt Gingrich think about that approach? He's next on deck.
And he'll keep it G-rated and meet the lawmaker. That's true. Meet the lawmaker who would rather starve herself than support an anti-sanctuary bill. She wants to starve herself for 2 days. I talk about commitment. Take that, Gandhi.
Riding along my automobile, I was anxious to tell her the way I feel.
Okay, back to live.
Everything is better.
With Blue Bonnet on it. Remember that old commercial? Everything's better with Blue Bonnet on it. Alright, I won't sing anymore. Now, let me get my pad of my notepad. Newt Gingrich always has a plethora of wisdom to provide us, especially when it comes to how to run a campaign and a country. Now, I guess he's going to talk about the guy that's out there cussing up a storm when he is doing these Democratic rallies that they got going on right now to try and fire up their base. What's lacking in the Democratic Party, I think, is a message of where they see their party going. Because when they tried to steal the election, or did steal the nomination from Bernie Sanders, that is the crooked, corrupt Clinton machine, tried to stole the nomination from Bernie Sanders. That was the beginning, in my opinion, of a Democratic Party that completely lost touch with the American people. Let's hear what Newt says. He's an expert.
Quick headlines for you. A toddler is expected to be released from the hospital. That's the good news. After this, falling out of a moving church bus, then
Incredible.
tumbling
So glad
into
she's
traffic.
okay.
Look at that. Well, an off-duty firefighter rushing in to help in Arkansas.
Thank God he
She
was
has
there.
a broken jaw, but is expected to recover. Still unclear how in the world that bus door opened.
I'm going to act things out during
And a
the day
liberal
that I
lawmaker
think.
is starving herself,
looks
hoping
weird.
not
I
eating
know.
will protect illegal immigrants. Texas Representative Victoria Neve on a hunger
Starving
strike
for
over the
attention.
state's anti-sanctuary bill. Now, the proposal banning cities, counties, and universities from preventing law enforcement from
Drop it.
helping ICE. Neve started fasting yesterday and will not eat, she says, until the House begins debating on the bill on Wednesday. Yep, and liberal students across the country,
Okay, we're
they
good.
want birth control at their fingertips. The Wellness to Go vending machine, that's what it's called. It's at
Reaching out.
UC Davis in
Reaching out
California.
for
It
your
now sells
support today.
condoms, pregnancy test, and the morning after pill. Now, the student who pushed to get the machine is now helping other schools do the same. And that's a look at headlines quickly.
Meanwhile, we're closing in on President Trump's first 100 days in office. So, how has he fared?
Let's talk to Newt Gingrich. He is the former Speaker of the House. He joins us from our nation's capital. So, Newt, what do you think? We're at day 95. He hasn't had much help from Congress, so how do you grade it?
Oh, I think he's done pretty well overall. He got a conservative Supreme Court justice. He's reestablished America's role in the world. He will have had, I think, 29 or 30 executive orders, the most since World War II. He is also, the truth is, they've passed about 28 bills in Congress that he signed. They didn't pass the one big one on health care, but he's gotten a lot of things done that people aren't aware of. He's got a very strong cabinet in place, and the meetings he's having today are a sign of that. So overall, I would say you'd have to give him pretty good grades for being an effective implementer of a direction that's very different for the country.
You know, there are, he says, in business, you just do
looking
make
for very
decisions.
different.
He says, in all these decisions, you have to have a heart, he told the AP over the
Gotta have a
weekend.
heart.
And there's no, because a lot of times there's just no clear right way to go.
Is there a clear right way to go?
Look, I think that's a sign of his own growth. You know, he came into office having never held public office, having never run for office before. This was a brand new job, and he's learning it very rapidly. He'll keep learning it. I think he's probably got a year and a half learning curve involved because it's such a big, complicated job. But overall, he's done very well. I liked very much, for example, what he said about the Dreamers yesterday, the young people who came here when they were very, very young, distinguishing them from, say, MS-13, a gang that we should hunt down and get rid of. And I think that kind of sophistication is going to go over very, very well. And he's picked people like General John Kelly to be head of Homeland Security, who is absolutely world class. So again and again, you've had Trump do pretty smart things. Now, remember, this is the most divisive president since Abraham Lincoln. He wants to drain the swamp.
Not necessarily.
Well, the alligators aren't happy, and you have to understand that. And whether it's the CBS alligator, or it's the civil service alligator, or it's the liberal alligator, or the stuff you had on a minute ago, cursing and using bad language, because the alligators are getting frantic.
Yeah, how do you grade? Let me ask you this: how do you grade Congress or the Republicans in Congress? Because when he won, Republicans were so excited because they had the House, they had the Senate, they had the executive office, obviously. But the Congress has prevented him from repealing and replacing Obamacare, and he tried to get the ban of all of those Middle Eastern countries, and that didn't happen. So how do you grade Congress, and what do they need to do differently?
Well, first of all, the ban problem was with left-wing judges in I think Oregon and Hawaii. It's not with Congress. I would give Mitch McConnell A+. He has done an extraordinary job of mastering the Senate. He's gotten virtually the entire cabinet through. He got a Supreme Court justice through. He's done very, very well. I would say that Paul Ryan said it correctly the other day when he said that they're moving from being a majority in opposition, which they did for 6 years, to being a majority that's governing, and frankly, it's hard. But I'd make one other point that I wish, frankly, somebody had asked me about before they went off on these deadlines. It took Reagan until August to pass a tax cut giving away money. I was there, I was a sophomore. It took me as Speaker 18 months to pass welfare reform when 92% of the country favored the bill. Setting a 2-month deadline for 1/5 of the economy
the right thing to do.
simply wasn't going to happen. They're going to get health reform done.